Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are sitting in the Isle of Mann and we're getting ready to head over to London Heathrow. In the last episode, we tried out Beyond ATC, and as a quick recap, it gave us a runway heading departure, vectored us onto our flight plan, then had us descend to the altitude constriction to start the star, flew us to the bottom of the star, gave us a heading at the bottom of the star, then gave us an intercept to the ILS. It was a little bit late, but we made it work. Switched us over to tower, had us land, switched us over to ground, and then the ground wanted a very specific parking spot. So in this episode, as you saw from the thumbnail, we're going to do the exact same thing, but with say intentions. So what I've done is I've gone into SimBrief, I have created a flight plan, I've brought it over, and now let's see how that works. Both of these last two flights, the Beyond ATC flight last week and this flight, completely fresh. I haven't planned anything. I haven't seen how it's going to work. I thought Beyond ATC worked exceptionally well. The voices were really well modeled. We were able to inject, was it FSLTL, the traffic's injector, so we got live traffic. And I thought the voices were really, really good. The downside is the premium voices cost money. So this version, I am a premium subscriber to Say Intentions. So I've already paid out. There should be no additional, not should be, there is no additional charges. So we're going to check to see how well the voices are, how well we are, the air traffic controllers most importantly. Are we vectored when we need to? Are we descent when we need to? Do we get proper clearance and ground control? We're all going to find that out in this episode. So let's just get going and see what happens. As usual, we'll go ahead and get the aircraft up and running. As always, I'm unable to talk as I try to start the engine, as I cannot keep track of talking and counting at the same time. All right, let's get going on the left.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
All right, so we're already up and monitored, and once again, we will come over and do the exact same thing for the right, or in the Airbus, the number 2 engine. So once again, I'm already losing track of time, about 15 seconds or so on the pre-oiler. Once again, you can always bring up your iPad if you need it to see the oil fuel up into the hub. Oops, turn that off. Then we bring the and now let's put the fuel pump on. If you don't bring the throttle full forward, no fuel will go in there. And you want about 8 seconds or so. So that's been about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn that off. Throttle back. Crack it just a touch. And now we will and we're just kind of moving the throttle back and forth, and we're looking for about 1,000, about 1,000, 1,200. You just don't want them too the RPM too low, because then you can end up fouling up the plugs. All right. So from here, we've all seen this before. We'll do master switch on, inverters on, and gen on. And while that's getting fired up, let's see if we can pick up our ATIS and see what happens.
NG and departing runways 26, 21. Bird activity in vicinity of airport. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if traffic service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Tango. Isle of Mann Airport, information Tango. 1820 Zulu. Wind 250 at 14. Visibility 6. Sky conditions, few at 2,000 feet. Temperature 13. Dew point 8. QNH 1004. Density altitude 0 feet. Transition level 40. Arriving and departing runways 26, 21. Bird activity in vicinity of airport. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if traffic service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Tango.
Good afternoon. Logan Air 673, ready for IFR clearance back to London Heathrow.
Give me 1 second for that clearance. Logan 673, Ronald's Way Tower. Information Tango is current. Clear to Heathrow. After departure, fly radar vectors. Time is departure runway 26. Initial climb to 7,000. Departure on 135.905 squawk 5726.
Wow, do you believe I missed all that? Wasn't expecting the time is departure. All right. Island Tower, Logan Air 673, cleared to London Heathrow. Radar vectors, Timus, departure runway 26, climb maintain 7,000, departure frequency 135.95, and say again our squawk code.
Logan 673, read back correct.
All right, so he didn't understand that I needed my squawk code again because I was busy writing down, but not quick enough. All right, but let's just see what happens after we depart. I'm sure someone will say something. All right, at this point, let me get the aircraft all set up and ready to go. You don't need to see that stuff again, and then I will get right back with you as I ask for my taxi clearance. All right? Okay, I'm back with you. We've got the aircraft prepped and ready to go. We've got 7,000 feet, the top of our altitude for this departure. We've got our runway heading set. I had to, for some reason, my GPS would not bring in my flight plan, but I had loaded it up into the EFB, and so I just put it in there. That only took a couple minutes. So I think we are ready to go. I am expecting on departure at some point for them to query me about my lack of a proper transponder frequency, but let's just see what happens. Isle of Mann Tower, Logan 673, request taxi runway 26.
Logan 673, taxi to runway 26 via Foxtrot, Charlie, cross runway 08, then cross runway 21, then Delta.
And Logan 673, clear taxi runway 26 via Foxtrot, Charlie, clear to cross runway 08, cross runway 21, then Delta. And we wait. Okay, interesting. Didn't get a read back, but let's figure out where we're going. We are up here in this east apron, so we're going to come out here, Foxtrot, Charlie, and then so down, second right turn, cross the runways, first left turn. Or even in America, that would be a left turn, then a left turn across the runways. Okay, well, we're going to assume that that's okay. So I'll leave that up here for now. And I think it is time to go. Let's get rid of that. On the right, differential. Now, for some reason, my sim link is no longer working. I should be able to have real time of us being on my charts, but for some reason I am not, or it does not come up anymore. It says it's working, but I don't know about that. So I don't know. This doesn't have a designated ground frequency, right? Just everything is on tower, no clearance, no ground. So I don't know if that is messing some stuff up here. All right. So if we're not completely lost, it should be Lima on Fox 1. All right. Hopefully this is Delta. All right. And we will go left. All the way down. All right. Didn't get lost. That was going to be embarrassing if I did. Professional pilot. Actually, I have made a couple wrong turns.
Mustang 9 Kilo uniform 59, enter left downwind, expect landing clearance. Entering left downwind, awaiting landing clearance, Mustang 9 Kilo uniform 59.
I have made a couple wrong turns.
Departure on 135, decimal number 05. Have a good day, bye. Easy 87, Bravo Kilo.
Matter of fact, I just had one yesterday when I was down in Orlando. For some reason, so we were departing south, and we normally depart north. And so I think I'm supposed to cross it there. There's Charlie. So I made a mistake someplace. Anyways, so I did get lost. But I found my way. Anyways, so we normally kind of depart north. That's kind of like the normal flow. And in my brain, I was telling myself I was taking off north, even though I completely briefed up the FO that it was a south departure. And so I was just coming up on the intersection, and I was just going to keep on going right on down to the the wrong way. And my FO learns up and goes, "You are going to stop here at Hotel 1, right?" And, "Oh, yeah." So I was in a 321, so, slammed on the brakes about 175,000 pounds worth of plane. I, of course, did not blame myself. I just said that there was a lizard out on the runway or some superjet. I can't remember what I said. All right. All right, so let's see what they tell us. All right, I don't think I brake that hard. It'll shutter. I got to change that with my FSR. Tower Logan 673, holding short runway 26 right for departure.
Logan 673, runway 26, winds 240 at 12, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Logan 673. And before we forget, we need to come down here and put pitch trim on, or my autopilot won't work, and then you're going to see me hand fly it and sweating the entire way. I've always wanted to come out to Isle of Mann and watch the TT races. What a blast. Actually, I always wanted to race them. All right, clear on the right. Let's just fine-tune our heading. All right, and I think we're ready to go. Pull back on the props just a little.
Airborne time logged.
All right, positive rate, gear up. Hello.
Bonanza 64 Foxtrot Alpha 2, turn left, heading 180, contact departure. Left to 180, contacting departure, Bonanza 64 Foxtrot Alpha 2.
Clearance on request, stand by. Information from current critical command to Alpha departure, fly radar vector to tightness and as file, departure runway 08. Initial climb to 4,000 feet, departure on 135.905, squawk 6474, Cali 90.
Logan 673, contact departure on 135.905.
Logan 673, contact departure 135.905, Logan 673. Oops, wrong one. Let's transfer. Good afternoon, departure, Logan 673, checking in with you. Runway heading 2800, climbing 7000.
Logan 673, Ronald's Way departure. Not seeing you on radar. Double check 5726, ident again.
Okay, squawking 5726. Alright. Figured they'd give it to us eventually.
Logan 673, identified. 4 west of Ronald's Way at flight level 30. QNH 1013, climb. Flight level 110, turn left, heading 145. Vectors to Timeth. Then on navigation. Climb. Flight level 210.
Alright, climb, maintain 11,000. left turn heading 145 to Timus, then O navigation, climb flight level 210. Okay, so interesting. So they don't call you back. So let's go. Let's get 145 in there. Let's get 11,000 in there for now, and then we'll see if we are on course to Timus. I guess we'll assume, since we got own navigation, it's exactly what they want. Okay, so that's the second time. So in aviation, right, you're gonna read back your clearance, and then they are always going to respond back with you that you got your clearance actually correct, right? And so what we're not seeing is, reduce that rate of climb a little bit. So we're not seeing any response back. So they're giving us good clearances, so they've radar vectored us onto Timus, and then own navigation. So that's a little bit, you wouldn't kind of get own navigation. It was a little unclear. Am I supposed to get to Timus and then climb to 210? So not exactly how you would do it in the airlines or officially, but I think it's working for us.
Logan 673, climb flight level 230.
Right, Logan 673, climb flight level 230. All right, so it took out that whole intermediate shenanigans. All right, got 230 in there set. And we're going to head there at 145. Here, so what I'll do is I'll go back to flight plan, I'll go to Timus, and then I'm going to activate that leg. Activate leg to Timus, yes, and then I'm going to select nav. I'm not sure it's going to understand what we need to do at this point, so let's go a little bit to the left here. And according to this, that little blue light means we're all freezing in here. It's the UK. Shocking. At 10,000 feet, we're all going to die of hypothermia. We got 48 degrees up here. It was not 48 degrees going to Orlando yesterday at 10,000 feet. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Oops, wrong way. In from out. That's what she said. Okay, I just wanted to see when it was going to pick up. I didn't know if we got kind of behind Timus, if the GPS was going to be smart enough to pick that up. It looks like we're doing good there. There. Let's come back down here one more time and just pitch down just a little bit. We're going up to 230. Over here we'll hit prop sync. 230 is really kind of pushing it in a recip, which I'm thinking maybe next flight, maybe we'll switch it over to the turbine version. Let's check that out. I would not expect the speed to increase at all, but the performance will be much, much better, right? We'll be able to climb much higher, much faster without worrying about running out of energy. Let's go back here. Let's check out our flight plan. All right. So we are en route, another less than 4 miles. Okay, excellent. So in the meantime, while we're doing that,
Mooney 56 Alpha Bravo, right to the VOR, descend to 4,000. Right to the VOR, descending to 4,000, 56 Alpha Bravo.
we can get rid of that.
133.6, envoy 901, thank you.
So I think what you're hearing here, by the way, you're hearing it sounds like real voices, and they are. Part of the say intentions, not necessarily agreement, but there's a checkbox that you can check, which will allow say intentions to use your voice in air traffic injection. So you are hearing real voices, you're hearing real pilots out there, some pilots out there flying the routes and asking for clearances. But I don't think they're injected in terms of the way, let's say, the FSLTL injector is. We'll see as we get a little closer, but we're going to London Heathrow. Are we going to get British Airways? We're going to get United, all the rest. I don't think we are going to. I believe in their beta program right now, I think it's called Living World, they do have that capability, but I don't think it's implemented for all of us yet. In the meantime, let's get in London Heathrow. And we'll come over to Star. And now we're looking for so for whatever reason, it is not giving us this is if I'm coming in the other way. Gotta figure this out. So we can come back. Want 9 left, we're going to want 27 left, and then I think when we come back to, that's what we're looking for right there, that chart, the new growth. Pull that chart up, hide that. All right, so we'll be entering at Nugra, Tobit, flight level 200, Sopit 15,000, and Bovington BNM at 7,000. All right. So at some point, we should expect a descent. Our landing taxi lights off here of 18. We should expect a descent from our altitude of 230 down to hit flight level 200 at Tobit. All right, so my GPS has it. Let's just see how well say intentions does. All right, so I think we're probably going to have a little bit of a lull here, so I will probably cut you out right here. If anything pops up, if there's any other communications, I will make sure I include it, but I don't want to have, this is a 200-mile flight. We all don't need, 30 minutes of dead air or me trying to tell you entertaining stories of me almost
Logan 673, contact London Control on 133.6.
Logan 673, contact London on 133.6. Logan 673.
Cirrus 981.
So one of the things you're seeing me do, you can have say intentions do the auto tune for you. And so when I first start off trying to use this program, like I said, this will be the first time I've made a complete flight with both Beyond ATC and Say Intentions. I've just dabbled with it a little bit. And one of the reasons actually I kind of picked up Say Intentions was to check out their VFR stuff. Let me just check in here. Good evening, London. Logan 673 checking in with you. Flight level 20.5, climbing up to flight level 230.
Logan 673, London Control identified. Good evening.
So I've only dabbled with it a little bit, and not really so successfully. But like I said, even with Beyond ATC, it's been a good 3-4 months since I've even attempted really to even mess with either program. So we shall see. Anyways, let me cut you off here, and I will see you here in just a few seconds.
Logan 673, descend flight level 150.
Logan 673, descend to flight level 150. Logan 673. Just about ready to go down to 50, flight level 200. All right, so we didn't really miss a whole lot. Oops, probably way too much. Check here. Well, okay, not enough. All right. About 4 clicks, so we end up with at least 1,000, which is kind of standard. So we haven't missed a whole lot. I heard a spirit call out here. Most of the voices have been American, not all of them. The controllers, the computer-generated controllers, they are all have an English accent. The chatter back and forth has been mostly American pilots. I don't know if American pilots are flying in England or if that's just the model or the data they get in here. I don't think it is. I think it's probably who's actually flying in this area. I do think they try to do a geographic representation of who is actually in the area. Which means, once again, 80 years later, Americans are taking over England. All my English friends are like that. So, but my only really comment I would make is that just because there's no traffic injection, mostly it's just kind of a lot of dead air. But it's doing what it needs to do. It told me to expect a descent. I don't think I didn't capture that in the recording, but it did tell me to expect a descent in about 20 minutes. And then just before it gave me this call,
Logan 673, descend flight level 070.
070. Frontier. Logan 673. So we're just going to keep on all the way down. So that was probably about my only comment right now, is that it is just a little bit not immersive. And as I said before, I do believe they are coming out with, I'm just going to increase my rate set just a little bit. So unlike last week, I don't have to whistle down at the last second. I do believe they're working on traffic injection, their own process. I will be going to the Flight Sim Expo in about 3 weeks, and I think they are going to be there, so I will talk to them about that. Not that I'm a big-time famous YouTuber, so hopefully they'll chat with me, but I'll see if I can get some more information for us all. All right, I am hauling butt. How I like to do it. Let's go home like. It's always kind of a... All right, so 15,000 feet here in 18 miles. What are we doing? We're at 20, so 5,000 feet to go. A little bit behind. We may make that. All right, so while we're waiting, we can just pull up. I had my EFB up last time. I was trying to choose a. They give us coordinates. I chose a parking stand. I don't know if it's accurate. Probably not. And we'll approach. Let's do a real quick 27 left. All right, so let's just make sure we are all set up for this approach. I'm expecting the ILS runway 27 left into London Heathrow with a localizer frequency of 109.5 and a final approach course of 269. That is set both in the GPS and on our HSI. Final course fix will be 2500, and that'll be at DME 7.5 ILL, and the 277 on the barrel or 200 on the radar altimeter. That is set. Airport elevation is 83 feet, so we'll be fully configured by 1100 feet on speed by 600. And looking at the MSA, it looks like it's 2100 feet all the way from the east to the south and just 2200 feet to the northwest. That checks out. Looking at the missed approach procedure, we'll climb straight ahead, and when passing, call that 1100 feet or 0.0 ILL, whichever is later, we'll do a climbing left turn on track of 147 to 2000, and then when passing 6 miles of DME on the lawn, we'll climb without delay to 3000, then as directed. I think we're going to land. Looking at the plan view, highest obstacle is just going to be outside our final approach course.
JetBlue 222, maintain
and that's
300
going to be
knots.
1089. Looks like it's a tower.
Maintaining 300 knots. JetBlue 222.
Depending on how they vector us, it may or may not be an issue.
Contact Heathrow radar on 125.625, speed bird 459.
All right, 5 miles going, 1,500 feet. I think we're going to make that. All right, and then looking at the profile view, 2,500 feet at the final approach fix. That all checks out. Ground speed, we'll do approximately 100 knots. That should give us about 530, between 500 and 600 feet per minute. We got Pappies on the left, and I think we are set. Weather looks good, so it'll be visual, so with no minimums. I'm expecting right-hand turn off of runway 27 left. And if they ask for a parking spot, I've got one picked out. I don't know if they'll take it or not, or if they'll ask. We shall find out. All right. And in the backup frequency down there in the standby, 110.3 is 27 right if they happen to give that to us. And on the final approach
Logan
fix, we'll do the
673,
same.
contact Heathrow radar on 125.625.
Logan 673, contact London radar on 125.625. One thing different in the UK here I've noticed is we tend to use like 125.4, 125.75. Very rarely do we get these 625s, 875, 873, 00.8, whatever they're using here. It's definitely a little bit different. A bit harder for me to memorize. All right, where are we at? All right, so we were just past it. Not too bad. Keep on coming down. Good evening, Heathrow radar, London, or Logan Air 673, descending through 14,500.
Logan 673, Heathrow radar, identified. Good evening. Expect the ILS runway 27 right approach into Heathrow.
All right, good evening, Logan 673. We'll expect the ILS 27 right into London Heathrow, Logan 673. I expected 27 left, I got 27 right. Perfect. I'm glad I got that all set up. All right, 110.3. The brief remains the same. The only difference is we'll be expecting a left-hand turnoff, and I'll just give them that same parking space, see what they give us. Something I obviously don't do a lot at the airlines. They tell me where I'm parking. I get that over an ACARS message.
Logan 673, descend altitude 4,000, turn left heading 0905 vectors for the ILS runway 27 right approach.
All right, Logan 673, turn 095 and continue down to 4,000. Logan 673. All right, so we're going to keep on coming down. we are going to go.
Logan 673, turn left heading 095, descend altitude 4,000 feet.
Left turn 095, 4,000 feet, Logan 673. 095 and heading. And I am going to once again reach a rate of set.
Delta 1221, descend and maintain 2,000. Delta 1221, descending to 2,000.
Looking for traffic.
Baron 2 Alpha Zulu.
Let's get a landing light
traffic
on.
at your 12 o'clock, 6 miles at flight level 3000, Airbus A320. Baron 2 Alpha Zulu, traffic at your 2 o'clock, 5 miles at
We're going to be off
3,500
that
feet,
now. Let's
Airbus
go over to map.
A320.
And let's zoom out a little bit more. I think, well, looks like we've got a little bit of time here. All right. All right, so now that we are on, we're off of the approach, we can clean it up. We'll go over to VLOC. We don't need the RNAV anymore, so we are set up for the actual approach. And let's see, 11, yeah, I think we're going to be, yeah, I think we're still, maybe still a bit high. I need to figure out how to, and I'm sure there's a way to do it. If anyone knows, let me know. I'd like to be able to draw a ring around my destination of about 30 miles, because that tells me approximately the altitude I need to be at, right? 30 miles away should be about 10,000 feet using the 3-to-1 rule. All right, so they've already vectored soft. That's a very good sign. I like seeing that. Another 5,000 feet to go. One of the things I always tell my FO
Logan
skiers,
673, turn right heading 115.
right turn heading 115, Logan 673. So get yourself configured early. 115. Coming up downwind of Bean. Can slow up a little bit here. The drinks will still be waiting for me no matter what time I get in. Oh yes, now it's too hot. Those in. Yeah, it's 90 degrees, good God. Should be expecting a turn here. Be a little bit close. Oh no, actually we still have a ways to go. That's actually, that right there, I can't see as I'm pointing with it with my controller, is the bottom of
Diamond 786, Juliet Kilo, climb to 5,500,
approach. They pulled us off
contact center
earlier.
on
That's interesting.
124.7.
That does happen in the real world too.
5,500, switching to
Totally
124.7786, Juliet Kilo. Shuttle 4 Bravo, contact London Control on 127.105.
127 decimal.
All right, 5,000 descending 4.
127.105, shift for Bravo.
Need to clean up this map a little bit and probably take some of these symbology off that I do not need. All right, and we'll bring our power back in. It's not too much yet. Props all the way up. And I'm going to put in, I think I guessed wrong last time, but I'll put in
Logan 673, turn right heading 125.
right turn heading 125 Logan 673. I'm going to say 25. Let's see what we get. And that should close that little valve right there. Very cool. Black square stuff is really, really awesome. They have just released a trailer or announcement that their last aircraft they released for 2020 is now coming to 2024 at the end of the month. And I will be getting it and bringing it to the channel and to probably this playthrough. You know, the level of detail they bring, I think, is pretty impressive. I have lived in London, or I've lived in London and in the UK in general multiple times for periods of time. And other than flying a helicopter a couple times over here, I've never done any flying, and not around London. So it's my first time flying in here. A little unfamiliar with all the procedures, or even how the scenery is going to look, other than watching some YouTubers. The views really are nice. Nicely modeled and detailed, I believe.
UPS 901, heavy contact center on 133.5, good day. Contacting center on 133.5, good day, UPS 901 heavy. Speedbird 274, contact Heathrow Tower on 124.475.
Contact Heathrow Tower 124475, bye-bye.
Logan 673, turn right heading 145.
Right turn heading 145, Logan 673. Well, we're coming around. We get a nice view of downtown London. Definitely a bit of a hike they put us on. We should be making the intercept anytime now. Just flying through the pink mist.
Logan 673, 7 miles from Charlie Foxtrot, 270 Romeo. Turn right heading 210, descend altitude 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 27 right approach.
All right, turn heading 210, descend to 3000, cleared for the ILS 27 right approach. Logan 673. I was wrong. Alrighty. A little bit more than that. Alright, should have plenty of time here. Alright, we are cleared for the approach.
Logan 673, traffic at your 12 o'clock, 2 miles, at 2500 C series.
Logan 673 looking. We can arm up the approach.
Pacific 1323, you're following the 767, 12 o'clock and 6 miles.
Somebody right
Following
below
the
us.
767, Pacific 1323.
Turn left heading 040, Speedbird 469 Zulu.
Speedbird 469 Zulu. Contact Heathrow Tower on 124.475. Logan 673, contact Heathrow Tower on 124.48.
Logan 673, contact London Tower 124.480. Logan 673. Good evening, London Tower. Logan 673, checking in with you. 5 mile final.
Logan 673, identified, evening.
Let's arm up the glide slope, or make sure it arms up. Right about there. Perfect.
Logan 673, contact Heathrow Tower on 124.48.
124.48, Logan 673. No, I don't think I swapped that over. Good evening, London Tower. Logan 673, checking in with you. 5 mile final.
Logan 673, Heathrow Tower, winds 250 at 10, runway 27 right, cleared to land.
27 right, clear to land, Logan 673. Let's pull out a little bit more power. Just don't want the overspeed. I think it's 174. Should be good. Safe than sorry. There we go. All right, first notch of flaps in. 1,500 feet. Want to be configured around 1,000 AGL, so let's go ahead and drop our gear. Last notch of flaps. And
Bonanza 64 Foxtrot Alpha 2 cleared for takeoff, runway tree 2.
100 knots.
Cleared for takeoff, runway tree 2. Bonanza 64 Foxtrot Alpha 2.
Runway 27 left, speedbird 203, super, thank you very much.
That prop sync off.
Speedbird 203, roger, hold in position.
Contacting departure 125.625, speedbird 2064.
Let's kick off the autopilot and be the hero we all deserve. That's what I tell my FOs every time they land. I'm like, all right, buddy, be the hero we deserve. If I'm not mistaken, that looks like my company traffic. Looks like the same tail and paint scheme. Got off the glide slope a little bit. There's our flash on the radar altimeter at minimums, continuing.
Landing time log.
That's how you land an aircraft.
Damn right. Oh, there's the lead off line right there. Missed it. Dumbass. Yes, I do talk to myself like that when I'm flying too.
Logan 673, welcome to Heathrow. Contact ground on 121.705.
121.705. Thank you. Great job. Logan 673, just off of runway 27 right, taxi to parking.
Logan 673, Heathrow ground. Taxi to Terminal 1, stand 213R via link 13 Bravo Kilo. Good day.
Taxi to parking via Lima 13 Bravo Kilo. Logan 673. All right. I'm a nice guy. I'll let him go in front of me.
Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo, turn right on taxiway Bravo, hold short of runway 17.
Turning right on Bravo, holding short of runway 17, Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo.
The question is, where
Whiskey,
is
November Delta.
Kilo?
Push and start approved.
I don't think we particularly care. So we'll just make the
Speedbird 69,
left, 'cause I think
contact tower
terminal
on
one is
118.505, safe flight.
Look at that. That is bizarre. Look at that. And I think I went the wrong way. Oh, no, there's Kilo that way. All right. Yeah, that is... I think if I was flying out here, I'd have to get like a scenery pack. That is just ridiculous. All right, Kilo's this way. All right, let me just pull it right next to the 777. Let them know that I'm here. My ground crew is. Obviously, they didn't know I was coming. You know, every now and then, that's why I fly right there, the 320 Neo. And I'm like, man, that's a pretty good size aircraft. And then I park next to a 777. I'm like, not really. All right. All right, guys, let me know what you think. I'm just going to go ahead and shut down. I think it's a pretty good program. Is it as good as Beyond ATC? You guys let me know down in the comments what you think. Anyways, once again, thanks for all the support, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care for now. Bye.